Hey everyone, welcome back to This Week at Notarize, where this week we are celebrating Digital Inclusion Week. And so at Notarize, one of our core tenets is to work towards bridging the digital divide, not only through the products that we build, but by having a regular active presence in the communities that we serve. And so joining me today to talk a little bit more about this week is Nicole Booth, our Executive Vice President of Public Affairs. Welcome back, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, this is an important one. So let's jump right in and talk about what exactly Digital Inclusion Week is.
So this week, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance is hosting Digital Inclusion Week. So that recognizes and promotes digital equity across the country. Each year, the Alliance works to raise awareness in digital equity projects across the spectrum, from home internet access to digital literacy programs or just access to devices. So while the pandemic highlighted the need for these services, the Alliance has been using this week to raise awareness for the last 6 years. So they knew this early on, and they've been educating ever since.
And 6 years is about how long we've been going at Notarize. And I really mean it. Like, it's really one of the core tenets of the company is to find a way to bridge some of these digital divides that we have. So Nicole, what are the ways in which we here at Notarize support those digitally inclusive initiatives?
Sure. So Notarize has a rich tradition of bringing together team members in its diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. Way before I started, Notarize was way on top of it. The committee thought about, how do we take our mission as a company and one of our core beliefs, which is solve problems that matter, and tie it to something greater than the organization. As a technology company, we believe that all communities should have access to digital services and more control over their day-to-day lives. So we focus on gaps that exist in access. So to do this, we've worked to achieve over the last year or so in a few ways. One is through a partnership with Windermere to remove racial restrictive covenants from property titles, using our platform to make home buying experience more convenient for citizens, supporting legislation to expand broadband access, which is very needed in communities that lack it, and then supporting, whether volunteering or through donations, directly to tech-focused organizations in the communities that we live in. One other thing is educating ourselves internally with things like this program. How do we raise awareness of digital empowerment, gaps, and equity? If we want to move the needle, it's important that our team members understand issues, terminology, and data behind the digital gaps.
Yeah, and you talk about moving the needle, and I would certainly hope that companies and employees think about their role in being more digitally inclusive. And so, what should businesses consider when they're growing their teams and their businesses when it comes to being digitally inclusive, and where might they be able to learn more?
Sure. So the first thing is digital inclusion is more than just one part. It's access to software, hardware, literacy, jobs, career development. So we should proactively ask, what are and how do we find the intersections of digital access and other industries, such as expanding and removing barriers to home ownership? As industry leaders, we need to make sure that our products and services are inclusive. And a great way to start is by tapping into accessibility features and making sure they're meeting today's standards, such as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. So at Notarize, on our iPhone or Android apps, each device provides accessibility features for vision, hearing, and mobility impairments. So these are just a couple examples of how a company or organization can help make their products more accessible. And to learn more about Digital Inclusion Week, I encourage everyone to go visit the National Digital Inclusion Alliance website. It has great information on data, terminology, and programs and communities, so you too can get involved.
Yeah, and that website is digitalinclusion.org. And as Nicole said, they have a lot of great resources and ways that you're able to contribute to the broader community. So Nicole,
and even by state and locality, it's pretty intense and great how into the local community they get. So I would take a look.
Yeah, it's really comprehensive. It's a really great resource. Nicole, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.